How much money did he spend to get his AirPods back?
It's the saddest word problem of all time.
Right.
Stick around, make a sound. There's more Dumb People Town.
Hey, Townies, welcome to another episode of Dumb People Town. Population you. Population Morris. Brad Morris. Is this the first time you've ever been on Dumb People Town?
I think that
you did a mini, I think, back in the day.
I think maybe a little mini something, and then also
you did live in Chicago.
Happened to be in Chicago.
So you on that show in Chicago doing Ozzie Guillen in front of that crowd at the Den Theater. At the Den Theater with Benny,
I was remembering
the guy
North Bar with
Dave Pasquisi, yeah. Incredible. But yeah, you were directing a pilot, and you happened to be in town, and we're like, "You got it. I'm directing a pilot tomorrow." And we're like, "Well, you know what you're doing tonight? You're doing our show. You're doing our show."
The greatest thing is to be somewhere not in LA, and post something and have you guys go like, "Guess what?
We're here.
Come do this." That was so fun. Fitzsimmons was there too.
Fitzsimmons
was so fun.
And you can't be in Chicago as a Second City alum and someone asks you to come step on a comedy stage.
Oh man,
and not do it. You got to do it.
Dan is he's
all come
dropping
from the
dimes.
Same place. My God, it's the best, and you're such a great collaborator in everything that we do. That of course want to talk about. We'll get to it at the top. Your new podcast, your podcast with Mike O'Brien, that is hilarious. On ATC. We'll talk all about that later, but we got dumb to get into. Dan, help us. Let's dive in, buddy.
Man, set in by Carlene McDermott, as she be Carlene.
Love her.
Man travels the world to track down stolen AirPods.
Oh, well then. So on this last hiking trip that we did, this big hiking trip we did last summer with our friend for his 50th summers ago. Is it 2 summers ago? This past summer? Dang, we're old. All right. It was it was in Switzerland, France, and around Mont Blanc. It was such a challenge. It was so great. Cool. Fun. We had one day off. And we went to this, in Italy, to this, outdoor hot springs, like a spa. And there were these things where you, walked around these it was so cool. I loved it so much. My AirPods, which were essential to a lot of parts of the traveling of that trip.
Yeah, all of them.
They were either stolen out of my locker. I think I put them in there because I didn't want them to get wet. Or something. Or they may have fallen out of my pocket or something. Someone took them. And I was like, someone stole my AirPods, and it made me so mad. I took a cab back to the place. They couldn't find them. I asked Lost and Found. They couldn't find it. And then I started tracking them, moving around France.
That's what happens here.
I'm like, you dicks. Who finds AirPods?
Are they still signed to you? Can you?
No, I think they're dead. I don't know if they.
I bet you could still see where they are right now.
Find them. That's what this guy did essentially, Jay.
I bet you could. So do you guys?
Jay wishes he could be this guy.
Do you guys do AirTags? Do you have AirTags in your?
No, I have AirTags.
Thank you, Randy.
What's AirTags?
AirTags. These little discs, little tiles.
I think
made by Apple. They're in my luggage. They're in my backpack.
Oh yeah, I have heard of this.
People put them in their kids' backpacks. People put them on elderly people with dementia. You could have them on a bracelet or a necklace. They're just they're unreal. I have one in my car.
Jay's trying to track his AirPods right now, Dan, because you now have got them on.
Where do we think they are?
Click on devices.
Nice,
Bulgaria.
Okay, he looks. They're in Glendale.
Right here. Son of a bitch. They're in Randy's pocket.
They've been with me the whole time. This is like the end of Wizard of Oz.
A
man has revealed how he flew across the world to track down his stolen AirPods, spending thousands of dollars to do so.
Oh my God!
Lewis Ellis from Manchester.
Buy another pair of what is it? $250 for a pair? $300?
Just looking
Sometimes
for
it's the principle. God damn it!
And if you change your wireless carrier, you can get one for free.
That's right.
Yeah, it's true. Lewis Ellis from Manchester left his headphones behind after he got off a Qatar Airways flight from Bangkok to Doha, Qatar.
Okay.
After realizing his mistake, he says staff couldn't allow him back in the cabin to retrieve them.
This happened to me.
He expected to be reunited with them once inside the airport.
Sure. Right. So this happened to me. I left my hanging bag on the plane, and I walked off the jetway, and I was like, oh, my God, because I had to put it way up front because there was no room. So, of course, I get off the flight, I grab my thing, I roll, and I'm like, this feels lighter than before.
I hate that feeling when you realize I should be heavier.
Right. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, my God, and I told the woman at the gate, and she's the gate agent, she calls down to the staff down there, hey, someone left it's a black hanging bag thing. Of course, it had all our merch in it, so it's like super heavy. And the guy comes off, and one of the stewards, of course, they're so taking their sweet time, so late getting off the plane. And they finally get it, and the guy's like, "Wow, this is pretty heavy. What do you got? A dead body in there?" I was like,
We can't make these jokes, dude.
Come on.
Can't make these jokes.
"Yeah, I got a dead body in there, and it's actually a dead baby."
Now you're on a no-fly list.
Okay, so-
After realizing the mistake, he said they couldn't let him back on the airport or in the plane. He'd think he'd get him in the airport. To his dismay, 4 hours later, they were nowhere to be found, and he left. He waited 4 hours after he landed, sitting in the airport, waiting for his AirPods.
Answers the question: how long would you wait to be reunited with your AirPods?
Or how little do you do? How uneventful is your life? How much do you not have people waiting for you?
I mean, this has only happened to me once in the past few years, but when you get on a flight and realize you have not brought your headphones.
Oh my God.
And you've just got to like serial killer it.
Yeah.
Just
stare at the seat in front of you.
Yeah.
Or like try to watch things.
Or
start
a conversation with the person next to you.
right.
They're on their AirPods. Hey, where are you going?
Yeah.
Can I borrow one of those?
Why do you look so violent right now? I forgot my AirPods.
Rand, how about we get on a flight and right in front of us there's like a young dude and a young woman like in their 20s, and I think she decides to sit down there. This is not her seat, but she didn't want to sit where she was.
Oh, yeah.
And actually there was a seat in between them, and she sits like on the aisle, he's on the window, and they're like arguing about it. He's like kind of giving her shit, and she's like giving it back to him. I'm like, "Oh, you're one of those. You're one of those."
Oh.
And they're like kind of fighting, and we're like, "Great. Like we got to watch these two people fight." And they're being loud. I'm like, "I can't even hear my own stuff." This is weird. By the end of the flight, by the middle of the flight, they're like flirting hard. Big time.
Yes.
By the end of the flight, they're holding hands.
Shut up.
I was like,
wow.
What if they knew
Now.
Okay, now what if they're married?
Is this a role play thing?
You think this?
Yeah.
What do you think, Brad? Like,
I think it could be. You know,
I think it could be too.
Yeah, I think that's a kink.
I'm
right?
in anything where when somebody has a baby, like
Yeah.
a baby or a toddler that they keep letting reach around like behind their seat to like in front of you, you know,
on
so
your
they're like
screen.
hitting your tray.
Yeah,
and
right,
screen.
yeah.
So I'm in anything where I just take my water bottle and I take off the top and then I hold it and I keep letting the kid's arm go into the water. So then when the kid goes back around, they're getting water all, and the parents
smart.
like, "What is? Stop doing it!" Because now I'm
great.
like, I'm gonna have them something to bring back to.
and
like
then
that.
you drink the water, right? Because you
Of
like
course,
that
it's
good
got baby
sort of
in it.
dump
It's
it
got
on the
baby
baby.
hand in
It's got
it.
magic
juice.
baby hand.
Baby hand
Baby
water.
hand.
Baby juice.
Okay, so he waits 4 hours. I would
Idiot.
probably wait maybe
20
an hour.
minutes.
Maybe
Until I
an
thought my
hour.
luggage was down below.
Yeah. He waits 4 hours. Nowhere to be found. He left. Lewis later had the idea of checking their location on the Find My app on his phone and was stunned to learn they were on the move.
Yeah.
Oh.
They had I then had the joy of watching them travel the world for no less than 5 months, Lewis, founder of Hustle Marketing, told needtoknow.online.
He's like, I work at Hustle.
It
We
worked.
didn't ask you where
It
you
works.
work.
He
Get
got it in.
there. Get it in.
You think I'm not going to track these down with a company named Hustle?
Guys, I work at Hustle Marketing. We don't ever stop.
Hustle
That's what I
Marketing
do.
is a B story in a episode of Ballers.
Yes.
Hustle Marketing is
Hustle
something
marketing.
that Cordry tries to get off the ground.
No, it's
Is it Hustler?
No, it's
Oh,
Hustle.
Hustle.
It's
Hustle.
Hustle. It's like every time I drive out to the airport at LAX, there's a building that says Raytheon Industries. To me, I'm like, this is a Beverly Hills cop villain company.
Absolutely.
100%.
Victor Maitland's in there.
You know what they're doing in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, Raytheon Industries.
I don't know who took them, but my AirPods went on the holiday of a lifetime. I
So
watched
maybe this is why he has nobody there to hang out with him in Qatar, because he continues to tell stories like this.
Yes. He says, I watched as they flew from Qatar to Kathmandu before heading to a small village in the Himalayan mountains overlooking Nepal.
Is this Colin Robinson?
They then took a short jaunt to Thailand before finally coming back to rest in Doha. That's a great trip.
That's a wonderful.
That is a lovely
for
trip.
the AirPods.
I just couldn't stand it any longer, so I decided to track them down. What started as a joking dare from friends, he dared himself, to go and retrieve them in person turned into an adventure for Lewis.
This guy does not have any friends. But this is like his eat, pray, love. Like he is trying to start a new life.
Yeah, he's
on this journey. I'm going to find out who I am when I went out looking for my AirPods, but I found out who I was.
Yeah.
Can we write this movie?
It does feel a little bit like we're always looking for that thing that's going to trigger an exploration of self.
Yeah.
And for some people, it's not going to be that you go on the hike. It's going to be that you lose your
journey
AirPods.
itself to find the AirPods.
That's right.
Yeah, so with the AirPods we found along the way.
He goes with his brother who he's not really relating
Close
to
with.
for a
That's
long
right.
time, and before they know it, they understand. It's time for us to recharge our relationship.
This is a good time to tell everybody to go see the holdovers.
That's right.
He flew out to Doha and commenced the hunt for his lost headphones, constantly checking the app so he could get as close as possible. At this point, he had already traveled how many miles do you guys think he had gone?
4,000.
Okay.
Well, no more. Like 8,000.
Okay.
Yeah, probably like 12,000 miles.
Okay. One of you is exactly right.
Oh! I'm going to switch mine to Brad's.
Okay.
8,000.
You want to stay with you?
I'm also going to switch to Brad's 8,000.
And I'm switching to Randy's.
Okay.
Okay, we've done that before too.
He traveled. Lewis traveled 4,000.
Jay!
Amazing. Come on.
Accompanying
Jay.
Lewis was his friend Tom from MySpace. And a local man named Kareem, who they met at the hotel they were staying at, who was keen to help.
Dude.
This is
Imagine running
a crew.
Imagine
running into people along the way
Yes.
and explaining what you're doing,
And them jumping on board.
and them going like, you know
I'm
what,
in.
this is a worthwhile.
I'm in.
This is a worthwhile adventure.
Well, Kareem's wife is like, you're doing what? I thought you were going out looking for work.
You're not going to believe this, honey. This random guy lost his AirPods. And
I'm gonna
he's on
help
a
him
search
find
to get
them.
him back.
This is so ridiculous. What the dialogue you were just giving does sound like White Lotus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
You're not going to believe it,
you're
honey.
not gonna believe this. We're gonna help him get his AirPods.
Aaron's going to
back.
put the
Look,
White
I
Lotus
just want to
theme
talk to the
underneath it.
manager and find out why my room is not great. That's it. I don't know why he keeps
That's right.
dodging.
So Tom goes with him. Then at the hotel, they meet this guy,
Kareem goes with him.
It'd be so validating for
What's his name
yourself.
again? We're writing this movie. We're you guys, all four of us. What's his name
Lewis
again?
Ellis.
We're writing
Lewis.
this movie. Dan, Lewis, or Tom, Lewis, and Kareem.
Yes.
It's great.
Yes. We went hunting. It was an adventure, and it felt like I was in a lost treasure film. It was all very exciting,
Right.
Lewis Ellis said.
Fine.
Okay.
They tracked the AirPods to an apartment block, the closest the app would get them. That's
Now
actually
the
not
three
true.
of them live in a cell underneath someone's bed.
The spider catches a fly. And then they went floor to floor trying to connect them by Bluetooth.
And I'm sure people didn't think they were being deported or anything.
Finally, outside one of the rooms, the headphones connected to Lewis's phone.
Oh.
We knew they were inside, and I was determined to get them back. I would go back every day of the trip until I got them, he said.
What?
I had the box with the serial number, so I was ready to prove that they were mine.
Oh, and I'm sure that's going to matter to everyone.
I'm pretty sure that's not going to be the issue that comes up.
Well, so he
A
knocks
lot
on the
of
door, he's
criminals
like,
don't like give up when you go
Hey, you know
check
what? Let
me.
me see the serial number.
Okay.
Where'd you get this?
I got a 605-349102.
Well, that's what we have. We have to give it to
Okay,
him.
I don't believe you.
Well, you did have the right serial number.
It just
I'm gonna
synced
return
up to
these.
my phone, bitch.
Yeah.
So now let's go.
Lewis,
Wow.
Tom, and Kareem, LTK, were eventually allowed inside where several people were staying. Wouldn't you be like that, like season 1 of True Detective when they're at the party and you just feel that it's a powder keg? Like,
You're like something's going on.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the presumed lost headphones were handed over without incident.
Oh my God.
We high-fived and cheered. It was all fun and games, and there were no hard feelings. He high-fived and cheered the people who had his AirPods.
Who took them?
As we left, one person apologized for the inconvenience, but I was just happy to have them back. Despite spending
What if this was the plot of Tar?
despite spending a large
Make more sense.
amount of money on flights, accommodations, and food,
Didn't waste
Lewis
a penny.
has no regrets.
Yeah.
How much
none.
money?
Did he spend?
How many new AirPods did he spend on?
That's
How
the
many
question.
AirPods? Yeah.
That's the question.
How much money did he spend to get his AirPods back?
It's the saddest word problem of all time.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I would say it cost him nothing because he gained all the life experience.
Hear, pray, love.
Are we talking about pounds or in dollars?
Dollars.
Okay, $12,000.
Okay.
I'm gonna stay with Jay's 4,000.
Okay.
$11,000. Thanks.
One of you is exactly right.
Wow.
I'm gonna go back to 4 with
Okay.
Brad. I'm
Okay.
gonna stay at 11.
Okay. Brad?
I gotta go now over to 11 because Jay was right the first
stay.
time.
You
can stay.
No,
You can
I feel
stay.
good.
You
I
can
feel Jay's
stay.
got a hot
Okay.
hand.
Okay. The amount of money spent was $4,000.
Why? 4,000 miles,
People
$1
keep-
for every mile.
People keep jumping off of the 4.
Dude, I jumped on it.
Damn.
I jumped on it. I'm going to take that credit.
My family thinks I'm mental, but it was fun. That's a real gloss over. I feel like that's a big. There's not enough gloss.
I want an article all about that.
My
part
family
of the story.
thinks I'm mental, which
But
by the way
fun.
could be the name of the movie.
We had no real plan, but we just hope to find them again. He said, "The fact that you can track tiny headphones around the world is unbelievable."
So now it's an ad for Apple.
Yeah, sort of.
Great.
Yeah.
I didn't really expect to get them back, and I joked that flying to Doha to get them is the pettiest thing I've ever done. But it was just great that we managed to find them, and now I don't need to buy a new pair.
So I spent $4,000 to not have to buy a pair of.
I'm going to ask you guys
for $40.
We'll get out of story one here.
$400. How old?
And then we'll come back. I'll tell you what I'm up to. We'll talk about Brad's podcast.
Yes.
How old are the AirPods? No. How old is Lewis Ellis? And 4,000 is not the answer.
23.
4,000 years old.
23
years old. What do you think, Brad?
42.
42?
I think he's 32.
32. One of you is 1 year off.
Okay.
So now you all have the option to go up or
31.
down a year. 31?
41.
41.
24.
24. Lewis Ellis, to close out story one with the wonderful Brad Morris, is 31 years old.
Shifted right.
Come on.
All right, let's take a break. We come back and find out what Dan's doing and Brad's doing. It's Dumb People Time with the great Brad Morris. We'll be right back.
Stick around, make a sound. There's more Dumb People Town.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. So happy to be here with our good friend Brad Morris, one of our favorite collaborators in this world.
Oh my
We're going
gosh.
to find out
On every level.
Dude, his podcast with Mike O'Brien, who also was a guest on this, is fantastic.
Killer.
Before we get to that, Daniel Van Kirk has dates coming up. You can see him in the spring on his
You can watch my movie,
Yeah.
Wine Club. Go to at Wine Club. If this should be before January 17th, you can have an opportunity to be at the LA premiere. And the first time I'm going to watch it in a theater with a whole bunch of people. So go to at Wine Club if you want to find details on how you can be there. Otherwise, you can watch it on right now. Yeah, you can watch it right now on streaming, and then Rose Gold tour dates. I'll be running the hour out on tour until I think mid-April when the special will drop. So go to Daniel Van Kirk for all that. I think I'm going to be in DC. And side note, I'm doing a live Pen Pals too, but you can check all that out at danielvankirk.com.
I love it.
Amazing.
Brad Morris, who is in probably my favorite commercial airing right now, where you and the woman are the next door neighbors who are
over the fence commentary.
Yeah, the commentary.
I
There are
love
so
it
many
so much.
little things that I know you threw in there that actually wound up being in
A
there.
few things did make it in. It's a director who I've worked with a bunch, and he's a friend now, and he likes to play, which is cool. Yeah, that was fun. It's fun. I think it was like my re-entry into having some hair and being on TV. So
you look good.
It was good.
You look good, and it runs a lot.
Silver Fox
Fuchs runs a lot, and you're really funny in it.
Thanks,
it's like,
buddy.
It's also a commercial. There's some where I watch, I'm like, ugh, this thing
one
again.
again?
This is funny. All of the Bill Glass, you're
great.
becoming your parents.
Yeah.
Like just the music in that is so great. I could watch those commercials over and over and over again. They're brilliant. Same with yours. So that's happening and out there. So please look at that. But your podcast with Mike O'Brien, Business Trips. I mean, come on.
guys have to come and do it. Mike and I are buddies from even before Second City days.
Yeah.
So we were on a team together at Improv Olympic, and we've been buddies since we were 23 years old.
Amazing.
And probably my closest early comedy collaborating friend, and he's obviously gone on to do great stuff, and he's a great alt stand-up and
Saturday Night Live,
SNL, obviously,
AP Bio,
and
that he
created AP Bio and all kinds of other great stuff. But yeah, we wrote a script together off of a really dumb idea that we had years ago. Actually, first it was a pitch, but it was like basically two buddies who went to college together. He married my sister, so they're really close. Then he got divorced from my sister, but not contentious, and they're all still family. And then they worked together for years and decided that they needed to have a show, a travel show that focused on the thing that they know very well, which is business travel. And they're idiots. I mean, they're truly morons.
All the advice is terrible.
The advice is bad, and it's not about that at all. Obviously, by the time we got to do the podcast version, it was sort of let's invite people on to come on who are improvisers, and so we had some fun guests come on. The first swing through. And we're about to start doing the second batch.
Great.
But
awesome.
There's some really stupid fun stuff on there, and I'm really proud that they're a half hour long because it's
great.
I feel like Joe Rogan, he said a length that's not acceptable, for a podcast. Yeah.
I mean, for his listeners and viewers, I will say I did just listen to a 3-hour Michigan podcast, so I am crazy.
Well, but there's a lot to talk about.
But I also appreciate the 30-minute because you feel accomplished when you
feel
get to
accomplished.
The end of it.
It's most commutes.
Yes, and if you want to rip off 3 or 4 in a row, go for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. On your next business trip, if you have your AirPods on the plane, you're gonna check that out.
My favorite thing that we did with these is that we decided at some point that it's played very much like these guys are not polished. There's very little editing, which you'll be able to tell early on. But we decided to write ads. But we would just go on Google and find like businesses that are local LA businesses.
Great. I love
and we would write ads for them. Now, the only parameter is you can't write huge joke. Like you need to stay in the lane of what they actually do, and sort of keep it right in the pocket. So it's almost like
a quarter
earnest,
turn,
just a touch. But the amount of people that reach out and go like, how did you get these people to sign on? And we're like, we didn't. And we're hoping that we're hoping they
just
reach
gave
out.
Them free pub. Come for the ads.
Rampage Hardware on Western, absolutely. We've all driven by it. So many vape shops and laundromats.
Next season, will you do an ad for the cement mixing company
any
in the middle of West Hollywood?
We'll look at
the one that's at La Brea and Santa Monica. It's just in the middle of West Hollywood is a full-on cement factory.
Yeah.
So like to me, I just imagine you doing like a very serious like Thomas rug cleaning. It's like very serious about everything. And at the end, it's like, we will also wash your baby.
Yeah.
Thomas rug cleaning. We'll see you down there. It's like, wait, what?
You got it.
It's gonna wash a baby.
It is that. And so you get 2 of those. We each write 1 of those per episode.
Brilliant.
And then at the end, the thing that also happens in the universe of our podcast is that someone from the staff,
this is my favorite.
Someone from the staff of the podcast dies, and they're always dealing with a brand new fresh death in the family. So there's an obituary. It's very stupid. I recommend
because
it
they don't
people.
Realize there's a serial killer among them. Right?
They don't, and that's the only remnant from when we wrote the script, which was a TV script where the show opens on them like taking a meeting where like Jessica St. Clair is a new network boss at like a TLC who's saying, I don't know, I wanted to meet you guys in person. I don't know how the show was ever on the air for a season. It's never going to be seen again. This is the lowest ratings of any show that's ever been on television. And we're going like, so you're saying we're going to get a second season? And she's like, not at all.
No.
But the feds reached out, and they think that there might be a serial killer who works as a boom guy.
So we got to keep the
show going as a shell show.
That's a hilarious.
And so that's the setup for it, and that's so we'll see. Maybe one day we'll get to do it.
I think you should. You're exploring it right now. All right, Jay. All right, here we go. Story number 2 sent in by Kyle Andrews at Late Night Nachos. Thank you, brother. This headline says it all. A Monopoly game escalated into a fight with a samurai sword that left 2 men in the hospital. Of course.
You could have just stopped at fight.
Wait, I always say that. I want to
go directly to jail.
Yeah.
I want to be the samurai sword, right? And everyone wants. I want to be the thimble. I want to be the samurai sword. I want to be the race card. Top hat. Who do you choose?
Top hat.
What's your go-to piece?
I'm a thimble guy.
Yeah,
Thimble's
thimble.
Nice.
It's easy.
I like
it's
the
just
dog too.
The dog's adorable.
Dog is good. Isn't there a battleship?
The car is good.
To me, just the structural integrity of the thimble. I feel like you can kind of just push it forward sometimes, and it'll just kind of do its thing.
Yeah. Race car's fun. Race car's
always
literal,
fun.
but I like.
Wasn't there an iron?
Yes, there is.
Yeah, there's an iron.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm going to iron over Park Place, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Here we go. A Monopoly game ended in violence after a man brought out a Japanese katana sword, leaving.
Just don't.
It's 2 men in the hospital.
You shouldn't be playing games if this is going to upset you.
I'm not
that
saying
much.
it's a negative thing about you, but there's sword people and then there's snake people. They tend to overlap.
Yeah.
And then there's just people who aren't like
sword people.
The 4 of us will probably never have a sword in our house.
So
There will just never be a sword.
Even if it's
there might be a kid goof around sword.
Can I say this?
And I grew up with swords.
We have a spear in our house from Amy's aunt.
She was part of Krippendorf's tribe.
Stop it. She actually went down in Africa and photographed like indigenous people down there, and they gave her a spear. It's above our the bookcase in our living room. It's like hung up there. So
maybe you could end up with a sword.
I might be a sword.
You guys. I remember we had like wooden swords as kids. We bought at the fair.
Don't mess with me if we're playing dominoes in
Oregon, Illinois. At the Audubon Parade.
You did have swords,
Dan. You all bought whips.
Saying adult. It's like.
Dan, you all bought whips. No, he's not. If
we got rid of it, we grew out of it.
You grew out of your out of swords. If you have a sword and you're an adult and you're not like in the commercial for the Marines, and you're not in the commercial for the Marines, the Few, the Proud, the Marines, where he puts the sword in
my stepdad broke out. He whipped out his pocket knife at a restaurant the other day to show the waiter. The waiter was saying, "And here's your steak knife," and my stepdad goes, "I already got one," and he pulled it out like that. I was like, "Bob, this isn't Bob. I don't know.
Put the corkscrew away, bro."
Yeah. I'm not saying it's always a negative, but and also if I go, I have a Civil War sword, or Marines, okay, fine. But I'm talking about people that are like, how much is that katana?
I'm gonna need it. Things get a little unruly in the old apartment. I'm gonna read this next line, and you're gonna learn everything.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry.
A group of 4 people was. I know that sounds wrong. A group of 4 people was playing the classic board game on April 2nd on a sidewalk in Forest, Belgium. Okay. So what was it? Pickup Monopoly?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You see 2 people.
We got next.
Yep.
When's next? 3 hours from now.
You have to monitor the wind so well.
Yeah.
You're going to do an outdoor Monopoly.
Paperweights on the money. Who's in charge of the bank? You can't turn your back for a hot second.
Have you guys played Monopoly Go, the deck card game?
No.
Oh,
how is it?
Is it
that might be my
Pokemon
Christmas
Go?
gift to 3 of you.
Oh my God.
It's a deck game based off Monopoly, and it is 1,000 times more fun and fast than Monopoly.
Well, I like it. I like that there's not all these pieces.
It's just a deck.
So what are you doing? Like if you're next in playing Street Monopoly and you're Sidewalk Monopoly and you're now, are you just like Sprite and One Street Monopoly tour?
Oh baby, that's my godson. Atlantic Avenue. Oh baby.
Yeah, everybody's nickname is one of the names of the property.
Baltic.
All right, here we go.
He's the
group of 4 people were
badge.
playing when a neighbor came out of his house wielding.
So he's not even part of the game?
No.
Yeah. He said,
I thought this was people, as with most Monopoly, get mad at each other as the game goes on.
You can't have all that real estate.
Have you ever noticed you'll play with Monopoly and there's always somebody who goes, yeah, but you're like taking all my money.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then you have to explain, right.
That's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing
here. This isn't personal.
It'd be like playing Knockout. Remember basketball?
Yeah.
And somebody was like, yeah, but I still want to keep playing.
Right.
But you're out.
Now I'm not in the game anymore.
No, you're out.
Yeah.
Goal is to knock you out.
That's right.
Shing. So Midi Libre, a French newspaper, noted that the group may have been homeless.
Okay.
Let them play
Possible.
Monopoly.
Or they're the picnic
can't
players.
find out. All right.
May have been.
La Libre reported that those playing the game and the frustrated neighbor got into a verbal altercation.
Of course
which
they did.
prompted the neighbor to soon join the fracas. According to Mail Online. Wait, so now another paper is covering.
Yeah, this is like you're reading an aggregate.
UK Mail.
It was what time?
2 in the afternoon.
3 a.m.
If you're outside,
3 a.m.
You need light.
3 a.m.
What do you think they're lanterning?
No, maybe under street light or something.
That's fair.
3 a.m.
I'm going to say earlier, like a midnight.
Midnight. Okay, what do you think? I just think there's something's going on, and he's like, I'm trying to go to sleep. If you guys don't shut up, I'm bringing the sword out. Randy, you're in the right ballpark.
Wow.
And right logic.
Wow.
It was 5 a.m.
5 a.m.
So it's light out. And the neighbor was annoyed by how loud the
Monopoly
group
game.
was being.
That's it.
You better cut that game off. The son, so I don't even know if this was this guy, came out of his home carrying a katana sword, a Japanese sword with a single-edged curved blade and long grip that was once used by samurai in feudal Japan. Who is he?
Who?
The guy with describing what a samurai sword is?
Yeah, that's good.
Right.
It's a Greenlee.
Yeah.
Then he got into a physical fight with one of the Monopoly players, according to Mail Online. The player tried to grab the katana and remove the holster. Police said the son tried to get it back.
Oh, God. So you lost your sword.
Yeah, but like you walk out with a sword. If you start threatening
That's
people
in
with a sword,
play, bitch.
someone's going to try and take it.
Brad,
That's like
that is in play.
if you're going
You brought a sword to a
play
Monopoly
Monopoly,
game, dude.
yeah. If you're
you bring a sword to a Monopoly game,
you're going to get jacked.
You're going to get jacked.
Maybe he wanted to be the sword.
Shing.
Yeah.
Way too big.
The sword's sheath was damaged in the scuffle. Of
course it was.
Exposing the blade, which then sliced them both.
Oh, right in the community chest.
Hey. Both men, they took that to chance.
Thank you.
Both men were hospitalized with serious injuries, with the Monopoly player being released the next day and the sword owner sustaining a deep artery cut. Dude, that's why you don't take the sword out.
I think most people also just don't know where those arteries are.
Right.
You know,
so
they're not able to.
I cut him, but he'll be fine.
Exactly.
Is he going to be fine?
Yeah.
He's not going to be
He's
fine.
bleeding out.
Arterial
He's bleeding
cut.
out on Oriental.
Yep.
You know?
Hey,
Is that even still allowed?
And that's not racist. That is a location.
That's one of the properties.
He's bleeding out on Pennsylvania
on
Avenue.
Ventnor.
Tennessee.
on Kentucky, or what was the name of the
Illinois
R&R Railroad?
Yeah, exactly.
You try to stack up those
The
railroads.
Reading
Try to get
Railroad.
them
Oh,
all.
you're a railroad guy?
Railroad guy?
Reading Railroad.
Yeah, the Reading Railroad.
I always read it as the Reading
Because if
Railroad.
it's Reading Terminal, like it's Pennsylvania,
Reading,
it's like
Pennsylvania.
Reading, Pennsylvania.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right, and I've been
Nah, it's
reading
okay.
it. I've been reading it wrong.
Whoa,
Reading
put your
wrong
swords,
the entire
guys. Put your swords down.
Give me that.
For the listener.
The man was initially in a life-threatening situation,
he's
according
okay
to
now.
the Belgian newspaper.
Yeah.
That's what's interesting because he started out being a life-threatening person.
Right, now he's in a
And now
life-threatening
he's in a life-threatening situation.
Well, the good news is, according to the Belgian newspaper La Soie, a third newspaper that's reporting
Now
on
commenting on this.
his current state is not known, so he could be dead.
Yeah.
also, that's how his family has described him for decades.
That's right.
Current
How's
state, not
How's
known.
your son doing? We don't know.
Not known. His
The
current
sword-
state is not
He
known.
left his sword on the plane, and then he followed the sword because he had a tag on it. Yeah.
All right.
God, if you own a sword, you would love a journey to find something around the world.
Dude, the journey to find the sword you left
like
in the
your own
overhead
little Highlander?
compartment, that's a movie.
Wasn't that a Mark Maron movie recently?
Yeah.
Okay. Zone de Police Midi, the police force which oversees the forest and the surrounding areas, did not immediately respond to Insider's request for comment. So we don't know if he's alive or not.
I'm going to go with alive.
Alive,
Yeah.
alive and kicking.
I would think so.
I was looking to see if there was another guest in this thing, but there isn't. Isn't that insane?
That's an insane
The
story.
most insane part is that you're outside at I mean, I know if you're a person without a home,
who's
I get
outside
it,
at
but
5?
5 a.m. Monopoly, even if you do not have a home, if we didn't have a home and you guys are like 5 a.m. Monopoly, I think I'd go no.
Let's go.
I'm not doing 5 a.m. Monopoly.
5 a.m.
That's not even when they started, right? So maybe they started at midnight.
Who
and
knows?
This game's still going.
All right. Well, I got my third story coming up. Give us a little tease of what
It's
it is.
it's maybe
It's
the
about-
best
It's about.
job. It's maybe the best job or the most successful a prank caller could possibly be.
Wow.
It's
Wow.
like maybe the most
I used to
successful.
prank call my mom all the
So
time.
this might be the most successful prank call of all time.
We can talk about our favorite.
I'm going to tease that on the other side of the break. Hey, Brad Morris is with us. His podcast, Business Trips with Mike O'Brien, on this very network. All
Just
things
subscribe to it right now and just start getting the apps.
Little 30-minute chunks for you, bite size, and it's
On the way to
beautiful.
work.
On the way to
Saturday
work.
Night
While you're
Live,
doing Peloton.
Saturday Night Live alum, Second City alum. This is the highest
right.
level
If-
of comedy with
improvised.
amazing
If you like
guests on the
7
show.
Minutes in Heaven, you like some of those SNL buddies that come by. Yeah,
Come on. This is what it's all about. All right, we'll take a break, come back, Brad Morris, and we'll finish this thing out. This is Dumb People Town. We'll be right back.
Stick around, make a sound. There's more Dumb People Town.
Hey, gang, we are back. I've got the final story. I want to get into it. Before we do that, we should mention that, and thank you. By the way, we mentioned this on these podcasts, and you guys come out to these shows, and it means so much when you come up to us. We just happened in Springfield, and this just happened in Cleveland. We're like, hey, I heard you guys were coming. I made the trip, or we planned it out in advance. That's why we give you plenty of time. If you are in the Pacific Northwest, one night will be important. We're actually going to be there for 2 nights, but one night at Helium, we'll be there
Thursday the 4th.
Thursday, the 4th of January. The 5th, we're at the Crocodile, going up to Seattle, one of our favorite clubs to perform at, part of the Wet City Comedy Festival. Then the next, at the beginning of the next month, we'll be back in Denver at the Comedy Works South, which I love. The beginning of March, we'll be at Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle, which is going to be great. Nate Fridson, our old buddy Nate Fridson, is going to be featuring for us there. Then we go back to Minneapolis at the beginning of April, Acme Comedy Company, like the 4th through the 6th. And then we're in Moon Tower. And then who knows what's going to be next. We want to put a date on the books to do a live Dumb People Town at the Bell House back in Brooklyn with Daniel. And of course, we just did a thing with Keenan Thompson. He said he would do it. So all good stuff in the future. Supersklars.com. Check all that stuff out. And let me jump into this, shall we?
Let's do it, buddy.
This was sent in by Eric James Hiltner.
And I am a Hiltner Honors member. Our Hiltner Honors members at EJ3K. And I love that recent photo of Paris Hiltner and her daughter. Unbelievable. Okay. This is the headline.
Okay.
Posing as owner, caller dupes employee into stealing lots of money from a business.
This happened in Vegas recently.
This is good.
Yeah. They got somebody in like one of the cages to like take a whole bunch of money to a destination and leave it there. They said they were like one of the owners of
at a casino. Hot damn! All right, here we go. Okay, this is in Marinette, WL, UK. A caller convinced a gas station employee to steal a certain amount of money from an adjoining restaurant by posing as the business's owner, Marinette. Honey, where do you want to eat tonight? Do you want to go to the French place or to the restaurant attached?
You want to go to the Blimpies at the Arco?
No, let's do
Arco
that.
Blimpies?
Yeah, Arco Blimpies.
Because I need to fill up.
But
I need to fill up, and then I need to fill up.
By the way,
I've
a lot of places.
The view is great.
In a lot
there.
of places in the South, there's like amazing restaurants
attached to barbecue stuff.
Barbecue, fried chicken.
Sometimes that's it. I know we're joking about it because that's not what we know, but there is a whole culture down south, Louisiana, Texas, where you get the best barbecue is at a gas station.
Best tacos in L.A. Leo's Tacos at Venice and La Brea, guys. Get those. Yeah,
let's do it. All right. According to investigators, the employee of Eagle Express / George Webb. What is that? Is George Webb a?
I have no idea.
Someone help us with this. Received a call around what time on Thursday?
I'll stick with it. 2 p.m.
2 p.m. What do you think? 4 p.m.
I was actually going to say 4. Yeah.
Get your answers in, townies, because this person got the call at around 2 a.m. on Thursday.
Oh.
So this night shift, not a lot of action happening.
Night shift.
And someone calls you. The caller told the employees that he needed to. Okay, this is what he said. Okay. The caller told the employee he needed to check the expiration date on the fire extinguishers. Do not believe that.
Yeah.
Do not fall for that.
That's
guys.
Like changing your blinker.
2 a.m. You wake up in the middle of the night with a start. I need. There's an emergency. Your epidermis is showing. What?
Right.
Ooh, what?
That's right.
So Daisy, my daughter, was flying here for Thanksgiving, and she was on the plane, and there was a seat open in between, and there was a guy on the end who slept the entire time, except for like 35 or 40 minutes before the plane landed. He woke up with a start, and then immediately started watching MasterChef. Like, did he say to himself, I gotta catch
Probably
him
needs to catch up with his wife, and so that they're on the same episode when he gets home.
He had a whole plan to watch 6 of them,
and
then he woke up and realized,
MasterChef, what'd I do? One of our best prank calls, which I want to break into this.
Go for it.
One of the best prank calls we ever made was with our buddy at Michigan.
Yeah.
We were sophomores. He was a freshman. Eric Wildstein.
Yeah.
I don't think he's even in comedy, but he was a good improviser for this thing. We called some kid. We were so into the Jerky Boys. This is like 92. 92. Okay, so it's like right in the wheelhouse. It was 91. It was fall of 91. We called the dorms. You just dial like 764 and then any number, any combination, you're into a dorm room, right? We call a dorm room and we're like, hello, we got this number. We have this number in our files, and we said we were a local campus video store, and we're like, attached to this number is the rental of the movie Woody Allen's Bananas, and it has been here, and it hasn't been returned, and it's like 2 years old, and the guy's like, well, I just moved into the dorm like 3 months ago. It's not me. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, that's not your problem. That's not our problem, sir.
Right.
But it is attached to this phone number, so it is your problem. He's like, you called the dorms. I'm like, you can make up any excuse you want to not pay this, but you owe us $63.75 for Woody Allen's Bananas. And he's like, what are you talking about? Freaking out. He's like, let me talk to your manager. I'm like, sir, I don't want to involve my manager. Let me talk to your manager. Okay, fine. I'll let you hand the phone to our buddy. And he's like, yes, sir. You are the person who owes $63.75. I can't own it. I'm calling my parents. Freaking out.
Calling my parents.
Literally, I think we had this guy on the phone for like 40 minutes.
You guys are wild.
And just like, it was like, and what did he be done? Just pay it and be done with it.
Right.
And be done with it. The guy was amazing.
Keep saying it.
We just kept saying. So he received a call around 2 a.m. The caller told the employee he needed to check the expiration date on fire extinguishers. He told the employee to expect a delivery and that the owner needed to pay 25% of the how much bill for the delivery.
Well, what's worth stealing, right?
I mean, you're setting up the fact that you're going to deliver.
It's a $2,000 bill, so he wants $500.
He wants $500. $8,000 bill. He wants $2,000. Okay.
4,000, 1,000.
Get your answers in, townies, because I actually don't even know what I think I know what this is. $14,000 bill, and he wants 25%. So it'd be $3,500. $3,500.
Yeah.
$3,500 he wants. Right? So $3,500 in cash, ready for him to pick up. When the employee explained that he did not have access to that amount of money, the caller told him.
Go get it.
Right?
Sounds like a you problem.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a YP, not an MP.
Okay, so his caller told him to break into the safe in an office in the restaurant portion of the building to get the cash. So this person must have been staking out knowing that there's a safe in the right? Break into it.
Former employee.
Meanwhile, a passerby discovered the abandoned gas station with the smashed glass door and called law enforcement. The actual owner of the business was able to contact the employees, but not before the employee deposited how much into the Bitcoin machine.
Oh, man.
And it's gone. $1,600.
What do you think? $800.
$600 and then another $1,200 into the red box.
Get your answers in. $900 into
we were all
Bitcoin
around
machine.
it.
Right, kind of all around it.
Damn.
The employee who was on the phone with the original caller for, and we're going to get out of here on this, believed he was speaking with the legitimate owner whom he had met before.
How do you not know?
This is more proof and evidence that you as an owner need to stop by, and so that people get to know your voice.
Yeah,
People
undercover
can't,
boss.
So clearly this
Greatest
guy
show
like
on
just
television ever.
very hands off, right?
Yeah.
So how long, and we'll get out of here on this, how long were they on the phone with this guy?
It was a long time.
2 a.m. How long were they on the phone to get him to do the thing that was smashing the other so that they could smash
If you get somebody who just starts working somewhere and really needs the job, you can fuck with them probably.
Right,
easy.
because they don't know who the owner really is.
And they really need this job.
Right,
And just started.
right.
So like, if that's policy.
I put probably
It's an hour.
hour conversation. What do you think?
36 minutes.
What do you think, Dan?
I'm going to go 45 minutes.
45 minutes. All right.
Split it.
His name is Brad Morris.
In the story?
No, his name is Brad Morris. He has a podcast called Business Trips that is amazing.
Subscribe to it now with Mike O'Brien.
Put fun comedy in your life.
Yeah. You need this. You love this. Share it with friends and tell people about it. Yep,
Yeah.
you will love it. And enjoy him and enjoy both of these guys as they appear. I didn't even mention this in the character episode of View from the Cheap Seats, which will be happening at the end of this year.
Wine Club
coming up. Daniel Van Kirk and all the Rose Gold tours. DanielVanKirk.com. We love you guys. He was on the phone with the employee for 2.5 hours.
Oh my God, that was my first guess.
Really?
And I
You're
was
going to say 2.5?
There's two. That wouldn't have gone. The whole thing would have gone.
2.5. What do you have to say to somebody? You got to be an incredible improviser to keep that going for 2.5 hours.
How?
And just also at 2.5 hours to get somebody to do something for you at 2 a.m.
Till
So it goes till
4:30
in the morning.
How many times do you say, so what else can I tell you?
Yeah, 2.5
Don't
hours
ever-
is like,
never
and your
un-
mom's she's been living there for a while.
Yeah, exactly. You're asking a lot of questions.
Never underestimate the motivations that come from loneliness.
That's
guys.
right.
I think
That's
Oh,
right.
You know what? And if you got two people, if they're both kind of lonely,
Yeah.
If you're working the night shift, you got no one coming in and no one talking.
This is suddenly sounding like a genius plan.
It's insane.
Or like,
to make a friend.
right.
or this is like the less violent version of that movie Phone Booth.
Right.
With Kiefer Sutherland
Right.
as like, I'm in the
2.5
phone booth.
hours, though, man. At some point, somebody was like, "Can I call you right back? I need to just call you right back."
2.5
Yeah,
hours
of course.
is how
Call me right
long.
back, dude.
No. 2.5 hours is how long Michael Jackson would talk to an Australian 11-year-old. Okay, on the phone.
Groom him up.
Just groom up.
2.5 hours is like you just entered Act 3 of Killers of a Flower Moon.
You, 2.5, I was going to say 2.5 hours is the first half of The Irishman. All right, so there you go. That is the show. Brad Morris, we love you, buddy.
Love you guys.
Business trips, we love it. And oh shit, guys, we got to get back to work.
Stick around, make a sound. There's more Dumb People Town.